Hi, Pam. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of working with us here at The Abundant Accountant and being a part of our 8-week sales mastery course. I'd love it if you could share where you're at in the country and also, Pam, what does your firm focus on? What services do you provide?
Thank you for allowing me to participate. I'm in Southern California, and my firm focuses on tax planning, tax resolution, and um, accounting advisory services. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, before we met, I'd love it if you could describe what your firm and what your life were like before we started working together. Like, what are those challenges that you were kind of facing, or what were you most frustrated about?
Um, I've had my practice for a while,
How many
um,
years?
at almost 14 years.
Okay.
So, and I've had clients come and go, but I think the hardest part for me was really sticking to a process with my clients because you think that it's important to immediately answer a question and just be ready on the spot for your clients at all times. And that was just not serving me well. Ultimately, it wasn't serving anyone who I wanted to bring on new because, there needed to be a way to work through a process and not just be automatically available for my clients immediately when they had just small questions, short questions. And so
Right.
one of the things that I think was helpful for me was to really hone in on being intentional about the way I serve my clients.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I imagine that you tried to figure out this problem on your own prior. Like, you've had your firm for 14 years. I'm curious, what did you try to do to fix your sales process and have these boundaries in place that you attempted on your own, but it just didn't work? Or maybe
Oh,
you worked with somebody else and it didn't work.
well, I've tried different things and I've invested in other um, programs and some read books, all those types of things to try to help me have a better run practice.
Yeah.
Um, and ultimately, I needed to work on really being able to give my clients the best of me possible. And the best way to do that is to have boundaries
Hmm.
and clear, concise process for me to work with them. And I knew this. I mean, honestly, I knew it. I knew it from the beginning. I knew it when I was using, charging on an hourly basis when I began, that I couldn't do that. So I quickly, within the first couple of years, I changed that.
Right.
But I really didn't have a way. Sometimes you think, well, I can't charge this, or how can I possibly serve this type of a client when I've spent so much time building up my expertise and but you question yourself. You
Right.
question yourself, are you good enough to do this? Um,
Yeah.
will they work with you? And honestly, when you go through the program, they'll absolutely work with you. They'll
You go through
absolutely.
our program? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're going to work with me. And so just believing that when I, you know, go to it or when I'm in a sales process and I'm talking to a prospect, that it's not, I'm not sharing anything that's outrageous. I'm trying to help them. And the best way for me to help them is to be concise and have a process.
Yeah, love it. I'd love it if you could share, Pam. You've done other courses, you've read books. What was unique and different about the 8-week sales mastery course and working with Denise and I and our team versus other things that you have done previously since having your firm for 14 years now?
Um, well, knowing what was different is
Yeah, like
that
what was different and unique about this versus other courses or coaches you had worked with in the past?
the program, the sales mastery program really does take you through a process. And it says this is the way that you should approach a prospect or someone who wants to work with you or a client that you currently work with
Yeah.
who is, you want to offer them additional services. And before I would just do it. I would just do the service for them. But what I learned is if we're if I'm offering new services to a current client, then I need to be paid for the new service that I'm offering because it's not, you know, I I prepared a tax return for them. I've already done that. Anything else is new work. And
Correct.
that's what I have. This is what I've really learned and I've
Mm,
embraced. I don't know why I thought it was difficult or I didn't think of that before because it really is. I mean, it makes sense, but until you're faced with this reality that no, everything you do is new. I mean, if you have a phone call, if you offer them support for a notice from the IRS, that's new work.
yeah.
And you should be paid for the new work. And
Love it.
so that's what's different
Yeah.
to recognize that just because you're a client doesn't mean you get everything from me. So, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Pam, that you'd love to share that maybe was unique and different about our coaching or the structure of the layout of the program that you thought was also in the positive for you since completed the work, you've done the work, you turned in the homework? Is there anything like that that you would love to share for other people that have invested lots of money in other courses, but they just didn't get the results they were looking for?
Sure. I think it was eye-opening to, I mean, we all know, I'm an enrolled agent. I have a master's in finance and accounting. I've, every year I have to uh, participate in different additional learning. Um, uh, I QuickBooks Pro Advisor, all those wonderful things. But all that I've paid to have for my education. I pay for my continuing education and to actually embrace the amount of investment that I've made in myself,
Mm-hmm.
to know that the investment I made in myself makes when you realize that you've done this, that it's okay
Yeah.
to want to, you know, reap the rewards from the investment that I've made in myself over the years.
Yeah.
I'm now my practice, I've said almost 14 years. So I have been investing in myself to be the expert that I am to be able to serve these clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I never looked at it that way.
Mm.
I never thought through that I've spent all this time becoming
Yeah.
good at what I do so that I can help them. I should also be,
Paid for it. And now you are. So I'd
yes.
love it if you could share some of your early wins or changes that you've noticed, where you're on the right path and you've seen these changes going through the 8-week sales mastery course. I'd love it if you can share some wins or celebrations that you experienced.
Well, some of the changes were, it was once it was presented and I understood that, um, yeah, I need um, to serve the clients appropriately. I need to charge them appropriately.
Okay.
So,
So you're getting paid what you're worth now. You're
I mean,
charging the prices you want.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. What else?
And so, making a decision that maybe a client is not we're not a good fit
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah. You've let go
So
of some people or
I've
trimmed down,
disengaged.
right?
I have also receivables. I should not have accounts receivables at all.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. And so I've done a really good job of just kind of going in and just reaching out and
What's the
repaying
total
them.
collected of your AR that you're never going to
Uh,
have again?
Okay, so I didn't count it up, so I'm at
Well,
five
about an average.
and about $8,000 or $9,000 of
Right.
AR that I've collected. So and and I don't plan to have AR anymore.
No.
Once I get rid of AR, and I still have a little bit left, I don't plan to have any. I'm just not going to operate on that basis again. Um, no one else would. A doctor wouldn't. When you go see a doctor, they
Right.
get paid up front.
Yep.
They ask for the insurance card in advance before you even walk into in their office. So
Yep.
why should I not operate in the same way?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm curious, Pam, did you have any doubts on the commitment of the program or like would this work for you when you first had your call with us? Did you have any doubts, fears, hesitations that you had to
um,
overcome?
I had a little bit of fear.
Mm,
I don't think I had any hesitations necessarily, but a little bit of fear. Could I do this?
mm,
Would it work for me?
yeah,
Would it work? It sounded great. I listened, I was able to view other testimonials and which really kind of helped me make the decision to join. But um, really, it's once you start and you start going through the weekly lessons, it makes sense.
yeah,
It just makes sense.
yeah.
So I'm pleased with the results so far.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So pretend you were watching this video for yourself, Pam, maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Or there might be another firm owner who's in a position like you. They have had their firm for a while, 14 something years. They've got a little AR. They want to make more changes on their pricing and have boundaries and create a sales process, but they have a little fear, just like you did, or they've invested in other programs and coaches and they didn't get the results they wanted, so they're a little hesitant. What would you say to that firm owner who might be on the fence right now that you maybe wish you would have heard in one of these videos?
I would say it's worth it. I wish I would have known about the program a couple of years ago, to be honest.
Mm,
Um, it's While anytime you invest in yourself, the goal is to get a reward from the investment. So to get a return from your investment.
yeah,
And I believe that I've gotten a return from my investment. Absolutely.
yeah,
So I would say it's worth it. It's, ultimately, when I made the decision after I had the call with Denise, the first time I had a call with Denise and the second time I had a call with Denise, um, I was all in. And I knew this was the right fit for me and my firm.
love it. Well, Pam, thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that also might be considering making these changes in their firm and setting the boundaries and getting paid upfront and charging for every service because nothing's for free and never having AR. So I just want to say thank you and just so proud of the work that you've done and what you've implemented.
Thank you. Thank you so much.